Hi everybody, Rachel here from Rachthestamper.com, and today I'm going to show you how to make this cute little egg holder. And this actually uses the egg die from the Dino bundle. So this is the Dino Days stamp set. And I'm sure you recall a while ago, I told you how I started storing my dies inside. That way I would never forget them if I had them. So this is the egg. So this is a flat piece, so it does cut out a piece like this. Now, a couple things I wanted to share with you. If you do buy these together, the dies and the stamp set, you do bundle and save 10%. And for this egg that I'm making today, so I made this little egg, it does sit up. This probably has been made by somebody before, but this I just kind of sat down and figured out a way to make it so it would be 3D. So mine is a little bit of a work in progress. This is the first one I made, so I'm going to share with you how to make this one. You might think of a better idea or might figure out a way to make this a little bit smoother. As you can see here, when the edges right here, it does stick out a little bit because this die is not going to be mirror image. So if you wanted to make it so it was mirror image, what you would do is you're going to cut this. The only thing is you might have the edge that is showing on the outside is going to be a little rough. But if you sponge it, it won't matter. Now, if you do it that way, it probably would cover up this portion a little better. So you see if this one is made like that, and then when I turned this one around and flipped it, if I would have gone again like this, it probably would have covered up a little bit more of the gaps here on the side. But quite honestly, it's such a small little margin of paper showing. I don't really think it's too big of a deal. So what I did was I actually went after the fact and decorated this with a little bit of Seaside spray. I just added these little dots that were here in the Dino Days stamp set. So you could use something different. You could just keep it light colored. I did sponge the whole edge of it because I think it gave a nicer white feel to the white by adding a little bit of blue. So you could make this as just a part of your little treat holder, maybe fill it up with some jelly beans. I did just cut some of the pineapple punch strips and kind of crunched them up to put them in for Easter grass. I do have a ton of grass downstairs, but in case you don't have any, you can always use little strips of paper. So these are just little, maybe 1/8 inch strips, and then I cut them and then just kind of crunched them up and make them into grass. So without further delay, let me show you. What I did was I went ahead and cut these so you wouldn't have to watch. So I cut 2 of the egg dies, and this I actually used thick whisper white paper because I wanted it to be able to stand up a little better. So if you see what I was saying with this side, this is going to be the front side. So here they're mirrored, but if you do it the other way, they're going to be opposite. So you could do it so they were this. That way they were both the same sided, which may make it work a little better. So just for the sake of argument, I did these two opposite, so they have the good side facing out. But for this one, I'll do them so they actually will be mirrored, and we'll see if it's going to work out any better. So we're going to put these, we're going to put these like this. So one of them will have the bad side technically. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp my little bit of decoration on them. So to do that, I just have my Seaside spray, and I again just have the little, kind of guess these are kind of little stone pattern. You could even make a little dinosaur egg if you wanted to, instead of an Easter egg, since we are in different times. One other thing, I am going to sponge it, but I'm going to wait till I put it together. That way I can hit any of the white edges here just to kind of make them a little bit more blue. Now, what I did with this, I ended up with 2 pieces of scrap, was I took a piece of the thick whisper white that I had left over. So this measures 4 by 1 1/4. So I measured, I scored it 1/4 inch on each side, and then there's 1 inch in the middle. Now, originally when I started doing this, I'm going to show you what I did. I just kind of eyeballed this. It was not exact. I just went and cut 2 slits on each side because I figured kind of the way it's built, and they don't really match up, I was going to need to be able to bend it. So inside here, let me dump this out. Hopefully you can see there are some little cuts in there, and I ended up finding that I needed more than I originally planned for. So what I did is I cut the 2 slits on each side, and then I just wedged each side of them. And then I found that I needed to kind of keep doing that. So I think I ended up with altogether 5 little tabs, we'll say. So I'm going to cut one in the middle, and same thing again, just kind of wedge it out. I'm just going to mirror it on each side so it'll kind of somewhat mimic, so it'll be easier to put together once I get it assembled. So just pulling all those out. I'm definitely going to need another one on the end. So you don't have to have a huge little wedge cut out. Doesn't really matter because you're not going to see. So I kind of spaced them, I'd say probably every 1/4 inch. This one might be a little bit bigger. And same thing over here. So we ended up, again, this was a 1/4 inch, 1 inch, 1/4 inch. So we ended up with 1, 2, 3, 4 tabs. Let me see if that's about what I got on there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4 tabs, and then I had 2 longer ones. So this one might be a little bit different. So what I'm going to do is just kind of a little bit curl the paper. I'm going to fold these in. So just folding them gently. What you could do, which actually might be helpful since this is only my second one, is I'm actually going to wedge. Oops. And I did find out my scissors are magnetic. I don't know if anybody else knew that, but these little snips are magnetic. So I'm going to wedge just a little bit here because this might cut off on the part at the top that shows. So just a teeny wedge. Okay, so now what I did was I kind of started with one side and then I went back and did the second side. So for this, I personally did find that our tear and tape was a little bit bigger, a little wide. So I went and used, again, this is the stuff I showed the other day. This is just a thinner style of a double-sided adhesive tape. So this is called Sukwang. So I'm going to just take little pieces. And you could also do this if you have liquid adhesive. You're just going to need to make sure you hold it in place. You could probably take the tear and tape that we have and maybe cut it in half and then just use half pieces. But I kind of wanted to make sure I went all the way around. So there's that one. And I'm going to do the same thing on the inside, oh goodness, of the other one. So maybe a great way to bring just a little bit of Easter happiness if you're stuck inside, if you happen to have this die. I think a lot of people got the dinosaur die and maybe didn't really use it for much aside from dinosaurs. So there's that. Let me just wrap this back up. Okay, so we have both of those. So I just want to make sure that my adhesive is pressed really nicely. And then I'm going to peel this off. And this is kind of, you just kind of have to go with the flow when you do this to make sure that you get it where you want it. So I kind of started with the center. I folded it in. And I didn't press really hard. I kind of just to hold it. I'm just going to bend this piece in and kind of slightly hook it on there. Same with this one, because this one, oops, goes in a little bit more. Let's see if I can get this one in just a slight bit. So that's not too bad, so it's still going to hold. So that looks pretty good, so I'm just going to leave that one where it is. I'm just reinforcing the pressing parts with my tip of my bone folder. So I'm just going to make sure these are nicely folded in. Okay, and then same thing again. I'm going to take off the release paper on the other part. And we'll just work this in. Okay, so I'm going to take and line up kind of in the center again. Now when you do the second side, I'm going to be honest with you, it never really lines up exactly how the first one does. For me, anyway. But again, I've only done 2, so this one is up a little bit. I'm going to see if I can pull this off. Because I'm noticing that my point here, I'm going to see if I can kind of line up with that, goes up a little higher. If I could, that looks not so bad. Press this in. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. I'm sure whoever gets this will be happy that you thought of them with a little Easter thing. So that's pretty good right there. So same thing again. Just going to press. So I'm just pressing the inside of this down onto the paper with my bone folder to make sure all those tabs fit. And then there you go. Little Easter egg. Now you could go so far if you wanted to. If you put both of these together, you could put a little, a brad, and you could make it so they could hinge open if you wanted to, but I think just the little cups are really cute as well. So you could decorate these in any manner that you wanted. I do want to sponge this because I think when you sponge it, it just gives a little bit something extra to the edges. Just going to sponge the edges. Kind of gets rid of a little bit of that white. Plus, adding blue to white really makes the white look super white. You could fill this with some jelly beans or maybe some Hershey Kisses if you have some. And now that we sponge the other side of this, because this is the back piece of the die cut, you can't really tell that it's the back piece. And then they stand up just like so. So I hope you guys found this useful. A really easy way to make a little 3D egg. You could put some treats in, maybe hide this around the house for those little ones. Just like that. Again, this is part of the Dino Days. So the Dino Days is the stamp set. And then the dies do coordinate with it. And the egg comes with this. So there's lots of different stuff in here you can use for dinosaurs as well as Easter. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you found this video interesting. I would love to hear your comments on it, what you're going to fill your little Easter treats with. And thank you guys so very much. If you've enjoyed this video, I would love for you to give me a thumbs up, leave a comment, or share it with someone that you love. Thanks for watching and have a great day.